Because this is an around the world kind of school. So how do you even get onto this quiz thing? Hopefully I do well. That's good.
I want to say hi to your vlog. Guys, we are looking about right now. She's right there.
Angela, what are we doing?
Oh, we're taking pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Yearbook picture.
Okay, so a year ago, I started the senior year project, a project where I documented the second semester of my senior year of high school because, like, I was going through a really hard time. I mean, but like, let's be for real, who isn't? So if you're seeing this video now, I managed to get over my fear and unprivate all of my videos. I put it on a playlist below. I wanted to make these videos very episodic, like as if you're watching a TV show, and this would be considered the series finale. I'm gonna be explaining what happened in like my last 2 months of senior year, and I'm gonna try to make the narration as like entertaining as possible because, you know, I'm awkward as like, I'm sorry, like, what can you do? If you see me looking off to the side, I have a script that I prepared, and like, I'm sorry, I wish I could memorize it, but it's a lot, so.
I'm waiting you to answer the phone. Nothing seems to happen, but the last ditch is gone.
At the end of every theater kid life cycle, there is the spring musical. So the spring musical, not for the weak. The second the cast list goes up, you have to get ready to shed your blood, sweat, and tears into this show. It's honestly kind of fun. Barely following child labor laws. It's snowing outside, but you and your friends have this cozy setup in the auditorium where all of your stuff is in like some big pile. And then you're all wearing sweatpants because half of you are going to be like split up to learn the choreography for like 3 hours. Boop, 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 boop. And then you get the special book, and then the costumes, and then sits probe, and then tech week. The spring musical is the event, like the event. Theater kids, choir kids, and band kids like all combined forces to entertain the masses. And I remember freshman year, all that was on everyone's stories on Snapchat was like either the spring musical or Avengers Endgame. I think freshman year me would be so pissed at senior year me for not auditioning for the musical because she was like so distraught at the fact that she didn't get into the musical freshman year, so she literally started an acting career out of pure spite. That's how I live. Out of pure spite. I don't know. I'm sorry, Haley. We were not at a good mental space. I wasn't gonna let the spring musical be our 13th reason, especially not one of my faves. My definition of what it means to be in the spring musical has kind of changed over the years. I used to hold it in such high regard. I thought that like if I got into the spring musical, that meant that I was talented enough. And it meant that I made it. Like, that's not true at all. My worth should not be determined by that. I think nobody's worth should be determined by like some 30 or 50-year-old teachers. I don't know. Especially now since like I've worked with people that have literally made an off-Broadway musical in New York City, and they also performed at 54 Below, and I have an IMDb page. So the moral of the story is, if you don't get into the plays or the musicals at your school, especially if you're someone that looks like me, it's okay. It's okay. It does not determine your worth as a performer. Keep going. Speaking of which, I had to go to New York. I'm embarrassed to tell my teachers that I was missing school to go on this trip because, like, usually when I say, hey, I might have to miss a day because of, like, acting stuff, I mean, they're usually kind of nonchalant about it, and most of the time they're like, okay, whatever, good for you, go away. It humbled me. I got signed by this acting modeling agency in New York City, and they wanted me to come in for a photo shoot, so I got up at the ungodly hour of 3 a.m. and we left by 4. We got to the airport, and I didn't get pulled over this time like I did on the Disney trip because I had my state ID. So like, PSA, if you don't have your license, and I know a lot of you do not have your license, get a state ID. So we got to the city and it was amazing. It was really amazing. It smelled like weed and sewage, but it was amazing because I've never been to New York before. So So we got to the studio to get my pictures taken by the lovely Lenka, and I felt like I was in one of those Vogue magazine videos. Like, you know the ones where they're getting ready for the movie premiere or like the Met Gala? That was me, because I had a makeup artist like on set doing my makeup, and I like had wardrobe too. And there was another girl my age that was signed to the same agency as me doing her photo shoot. And I was like, dang, what am I doing here? I started to like feel kind of out of body and like really like, dang, I don't really belong in this. Even though I worked so hard to like be in this world, I feel like I don't belong. And I'm very critical of my looks. I mean, I kind of have to be, considering that I'm in the entertainment industry. Sometimes I feel like there's genuinely not a place for me on TV. It's hard out here. I had bangs, and I was going through a phase. And I thought I was giving Jenna Ortega, but I wasn't. I mean, I accept that now. After we got back to the hotel, we went to Ruth's Chris right next to Radio City Music Hall where Olivia Rodrigo was performing, and that was like the closest I get to seeing her.
Kobe. That looks so...
We went to Broadway, and we didn't see a show, but I got to see Times Square. And then the next day, we got breakfast at this place that was like shaped like a subway car, and it was like really good hot chocolate while I read Percy Jackson, and then we went home. Update, and signing with a new agency. The girls that get it, and the girls that don't.
I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong.
Yeah, do you hear that song? Do you hear how hard we slaved over that song? Bob's concert is the final concert in our choir season. The rest of the season we usually sing folklore music, not folklore music, but folklore music.
Our first song was written by Father Louis P. Marcus, our choir conductor. He was inspired by traditional African folk music, specifically the Lion King.
The song specifically that the whole advanced treble choir stressing. It was so hard for the soprano twos, especially because like we are the altos of sopranos. You know the blonde versus brunette pair debate? That's soprano ones and soprano twos. I mean, for us, we had no beef because we were all besties, but the soprano ones kept haunting the song with their high notes. You see, me personally, I was gonna let that slide. So all the soprano twos locked it down. We sent sheet music in the group chat. We sent voice memos, and we were trying to find the soprano two arrangement to the song and failed. By the time we were on stage, we figured it out. It's the last song. The last song we did in the concert was called The Music Never Ends.
Our song is over, and though the message lingers on and on, the music never ends. If for a moment time stops to steal its solemn vow and be gone, in music we are one.
It's a tradition to sing this song every year because it's like a goodbye for the seniors. And I think for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the crippling anxiety that made me want to like pee my pants every time I was on stage. I was holding hands with people I'd known for years, and people I had a history with, people I laughed with, and people I cried with for 4 minutes.
Okay. It's a video, Larissa. Wait, oh my god. Why is this? Oh my god. I like so confused.
May was a busy month. We had prom, graduation, AP tests, finals, and the world was getting brighter, but we were scared of the future.
Like, wow, look at that. It's actually light today outside, and it's not raining.
First thing I did was perform for my spring recital. I've been taking vocal lessons for about a year and a half. When I started junior year, I fell in love with this musical called The Last 5 Years. And I kept listening to this one song called Climbing Uphill because it was really cathartic. I kept imagining me performing it in front of everybody. Like, you know those dramatic scenarios you make up in your head? Like, that was me. I told myself that one day, when I get the skills, I'll perform it. And I did. A year later, I knew this song was going to be a challenge, so I quite literally worked to the bone to make sure that I could perform it, like, to the best of my ability.
Welcome to Hell Week. So I've got a lot to do this week. Tomorrow I've got a solo I have to perform for my recital. Then I have to turn in my capstone project for Adepka Cinema. I still have to do my capstone for music and lit. And I also have AP Euro testing on Friday. So yay!
Look right here. I got the setup for practicing for my solo. I've got this karaoke machine that I was given for Christmas like 2 years ago. I would sing through the entire song in the shower, like, over and over. I had 3 sections to perform. Kathy's audition song, Kathy's inner monologue, and Kathy's emotions. The audition song is only like a few seconds long, and you're supposed to sing it like off key. Not for me. I perform the whole thing. You know why? Because I'm just that girl. Day of, my vocal teacher sent my friends and I an email saying that we were going to be performing for our choirs before the actual recital. And I was like, haha, that's so funny. But then she was like, no, you're actually going to do it. Okay. You can't do this to me, that means I'm going first. I was also sick the weekend before, and I was like suffering with voice cracks, and when I sang I could tell I wasn't like fully there, but I did it.
I just performed my recital song for the first time in front of everyone in choir today, and now it's 1 hour before, and I have to do the same thing.
It was necessary in order for me to lessen my nerves when, like, we did it at the actual recital. It wasn't the best sub. I'm not the best singer, and I acknowledge that. But the experience of performing something I worked, like, really hard on, and the experience of telling a story with my body and my voice, and like, bruh, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Guys, I gotta talk about something. So I just finished the recital. Here it is. And it was great, like nearly exactly what I wanted to do. I did exactly what I wanted to do, and like when I first walked in there, I was scared that I would like mess up the words or that I would like not remember the words at all, but I did remember the words. I think to that moment in Legally Blonde the musical where Ella's like, law, is this the point of law? And like, I feel like that's what that is, except it's with performing, and it's like all those like weeks of like stressing over this and like and practicing and finally being there and being in the moment and doing it, and I was like, this is this is the point of performing. The point of performing is to make people happy. And I think this solidifies that's exactly what I want to do in my life.
That's all I want to do.
AP exam season is always such a wholesome time. There's just something about a shared collective suffering that brings people together.
I don't know what to do. Oh my fucking...
All week, I was stressing about this exam. My teacher told us once that he could just tell when someone was like a walking one. That affected me. That affected me. I had a lot of unconventional study habits, meaning I started writing a historical fan fiction about these students that traveled through the different time periods that we studied in AP European history. I don't know, I figured it would be a good way to retain the copious amounts of information that was fed all year. The night before the exam, I realized that like I bought my Multiverse of Madness tickets the night before, so I spontaneously went to the movies. My friend Bailey.
Look, it's Bailey! It's a collab! We're going to see Multiverse of Madness. We're going to see Multiverse of Madness! Wanda and Wong are on the back. Oh my god.
I think I needed it. I think I needed to chill out. So the day of, my dad made me this scrumptious breakfast while I was last minute cramming upstairs. I got to school early, and then we went to my assigned room, and I was like, this is kind of fancy. The way that there's like a sign for a specific like class, like, oh my gosh. I'm in the smart people camp. The actual test themselves were like basically formatted the same as the SAT. Like, let me tell you, I had a mini hyperfixation on the French Revolution, and it quite literally saved my ass on the FRQs. If you want to know what score I got, no you don't. No you don't. Know that I didn't get a 1. It's
Your favorite anime? You know what my favorite anime is, Devon? Neon Genesis Evangelion. Bruh. All over the internet, Roe v. Wade, and also the Met Gala at the same time. It's like a sensory overload. It's the law. Haley, what are we here for? We're here for the SU meeting. The what? The final SU meeting. Yes. The final era. Is it the final era? What are you doing with the cup I gave you? What do you mean? I'm drinking it. You're drinking it? You sure? How many days do we have left of school, Haley? 7? Yeah, 7. They're just like that couple from Titanic. Oh, here's Devon. Hi, Devon. Here's Haley with her cup. Yeah, my cup. Last SB meeting. Okay.
This is I'm suing. I'm suing.
How many days of school do we have left, Haley?
10.
3.
Ahmet is the best in the world.
3. Literally 1.5. 1.5.
So, Riley, what's going on with your cap and gown?
I can't get my cap and gown. They're holding it hostage.
Why are they holding it hostage?
Because I don't have my parchment together.
And we've tried it like 80 times. It just will not work. Haley,
Guys, I'm not graduating.
No, Riley's not graduating. How do you feel today, Haley?
I feel happy. It's good. I'm glad you feel happy.
How do you feel?
Wow, we're
Double middle finger. 1, 2, 3. Ah. No. Okay, vlog. See you later. What are we doing today, guys? Dance practice. Haley, what song are we doing? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel good.
And I love the black fits today.
You're good, Kiaale.
Oh my God,
Don't
should I
worry.
dye my hair this color? Yes, you should. Kaale, how do you feel about the project? Tell us.
It's not that bad.
I am very proud of us, but I'm also very exhausted. Why did we do so many spins? But it is okay.
Okay, guys.
Oh, I'm so ugly. No, you're not. How many days of school do we have left? Like 1? Like less? Haley, how many days of school do we have left?
A smart day.
A smart day. How much, right?
A smart day.
Hi, Mom!
Guys, I put on my graduation cap and graduation gown. It is the ugliest thing ever.
Hey.
Okay, we're good.
College board is a scam.
One quote for today.
I hate AP.
I don't know how I feel.
About what?
I don't know. Give us a quote, Shreya. I mean, I have an AP exam tomorrow and it's the last day of school. Isn't that horrible?
Riley, give us a quote for today.
Bye.
Give us a quote for today. You give one. Okay. Give us a quote for today.
Victor is a bottom.
Trey, give us another quote for today.
Okay, if you do anything in your life, have fun. That's all that matters. No one cares if you get a 5 in your PTEs. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine.
I don't get motivation.
One day we'll be.
How do I feel today? Not too bad. I got one of the coffees because I have so much money left on my card and I want to spend it all before we go because the school's not going to give us the money back. They can't keep my money.
I feel alive, but also kind of dead, and that's today's day.
Last day of school ever.
Period is it? Is it period 4? It's period 4. It's period 4. What's today?
The last day of school.
And how do you feel?
Can you give us a quote? That's it.
Okay, Riley, give us a quote. He's so excited. Okay, thanks, Riley.
Hamlet is a dominant.
Oh, what's your quote? Victor Frankenstein is a bot. Oh my goodness. Tanvi, give us your quote for today.
Don't have one.
Don't have one? Aubrey, say hi to the vlog. What's your quote for today?
I got a sunburn. I got a sunburn everywhere.
Slay. Yeah. Ahmed, how do you feel you're going to be one of the only juniors
No, I'm
left?
a senior.
Okay, Chloe, how do you feel you'll be one of the only left?
Sad.
Paula, how do you feel? Tell the vlog.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh, hi Sam, say hi to the vlog.
Hello vlog, it's me Sam.
How do you feel?
How would I feel about what?
I don't know.
Oh, I feel warm actually. I'm feeling okay. It's good. I'm eating one of the shit ass burgers for the last time.
Terrible. Try. Go ahead.
I miss you.
Oh my god. What's going on?
The vlog.
Oh my god. No. Stop.
I'm vlogging you right now.
Stop. No. Oh, bruh. That's wholesome.
First place with Nicole Chakra and Gaetano Rose. In second place was a tie. Martina Victoria and Cooper Series and Kate Schnabel and James McClellan. And in first place, Steven Patel.
Good evening, students of Lake Park. We're about 15 minutes out from sunset. Just like to remind you that there are free snacks, things like chips, cookies, candy bars, over on your right by the school.
No, sensory issues are no.
Yeah,
We just
no,
closed.
it's too
Is
loud.
everyone okay? We just closed the trunk.
Okay, we just closed the hatch, so we can still see it.
And literally can still hear it.
Thanks for the help, guys.
I don't know if this is a thing specifically like catered to me, but does anyone get really sad during school dances? I didn't want prom to be like homecoming. At homecoming, I was at the height, or like teetering to the height of my depression. I felt so bad that everyone else was like having fun and I was ruining the mood because I was having a breakdown, like a mortally wounded animal while everyone was like partying around me. Prom is not going to be like that. I was determined to have a good time. So first, our group took pictures at the park. It was very crowded because another school was there at the same time. Dang, that's so many people.
Oh, that's not all from the school.
I know, still. and it was very hot. So it levels out.
I feel so
The beginning of prom was a bit rough for me. I was not going to be sad on probably my last school dance ever. I dragged my ass to the dance floor with my friends, and I had a good time.
Sarah, we should probably move out. Hi. What are we doing? We're at prom. Yeah. We're gonna go to post-prom, right?
After that, we went to Chicago for the after party on the boat. So we got back at 4 a.m. and my parents asked me if I had a fun time at prom. I said yes, and I didn't lie.
What are we doing?
I don't know. We're just standing in the hallway. We're just waiting.
Nothing important.
We're missing people. They're gone.
My auntie flew from California to go to my graduation. Our choir was doing our last performance in front of like the biggest crowd of people that we've ever performed for.
He's not late. Huh? He's not late.
Think about
Yeah.
it. We might have everyone. I mean,
And I literally almost slipped in my heels while walking to the risers. I'm like a silly cartoon character when it comes to clumsiness. It's like, and it scares me. Then it was time for the names to be called, and the thing that they always say for the families is to hold their applause until everyone's names are called. Obviously no one listened, and after my name was called, like, guess what? Guess where we went after? We went to Ruth Chris. Ruth Chris is our Luke's. Whenever we travel, there's always a Ruth Chris waiting by. Anxiety was going like so rampant though. I wanted to leave the stadium like immediately, and I hated going to these types of events because my body cannot handle the like overwhelming amount of emotion and stimuli that's like going on. But you know, I still wanted to do it. Senior year was a really hard year for me. I spent a week at an inpatient facility with kids my age dealing with the same things, and not everyone who deals with the same things as me has made it out. I'm still not like fully out, but I was going to walk for them because it wasn't just for me, it was for them.
Okay, having a vlog. What are we doing?
Oh, we're going to meet with Mr. Alpine.
Oh my god.
Thespian induction.
For the last time.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, for the last time.
So, at the end of every theater season, there are the thespies, which are basically just an award show like the Oscars, but for our school. Students vote for the thespian board members for next year, and they choose who's going to win the awards, and we find out the spring musical. I was part of the thespian board, so we were essentially planning the whole event. We were making the thespian skit, and we each had to say a speech, but the mic wasn't working, so I don't know, I hope I was loud enough. Me and Caroline won Best One Act, and me and Isa won Best On-Stage Couple for the play we were in. Most important part was guiding the thespian apprentices into becoming thespians. This is a very sacred process that involves lighting a bunch of candles and having people sign their names into the thespian book in blood. Theater is a midsummer level cult. I mean, what can I say? We even have a chant. Throughout the entire season, I really wanted to make a safe space for all of the grades. I mean, especially the underclassmen. When I was a freshman, it was like low-key kind of cliquey, and it was a bit intimidating, and I also felt a bit isolated by the upperclassmen. So as a board member, I really wanted to focus on making people comfortable and like they could talk to me, and I didn't want the fact that I was a senior to intimidate anybody. So like, I don't know, if anyone was here the year that I was here, I really hope that I made your year at Lake Park okay. I'm still here to talk anytime. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of my senior year. Overall, this was like very helpful in like helping me stay in the moment. If you're from the class of 2023 and you're watching this, you have 2 3 months left of your senior year, I would say enjoy it, you know, because it's not going to be like this again. With college, if you choose to go to college, you're not going to have enough energy to knock out 8 classes a day and then go to practice for another 4 hours. Closest net that you have in high school, it's not really going to be the same after college. You kind of have to work more towards it, but it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. It's going to be different and it's going to be scary, but overall I think it's going to be okay. Thank you for watching. Like, really, thank you for watching. It was a pretty long video. I hope you can stick around and see what other things that I do.
I'm quitting McDonald's!
No, it's not.